What's up, Longhorn Nation? All right, it is Texas Bama week, and I am so excited. Before I get to this interview, though, I want to give a shout out to the guys at Bijan Mustardson. This is not sponsored at all, but this is so damn cool. It just came in, finally, just got it. Really cool. I'm not a huge Dijon fan, so I'm probably not going to be using it at all. But just a really cool product that they made with Bijan. A good way to support our Texas football players. So if you haven't gotten a bottle yet, go ahead and do that. It's very easy. There's a website for it. If you got any questions, let me know in the comments. Now to the interview. We're talking with Michael Casagrande. He covers the University of Alabama athletics for AL.com, Birmingham News, Press Register, Huntsville Times. Really, really experienced with this Alabama football team. Talking to him about a lot of things. We're talking about 2009 Texas Bama. Does Texas win if Cole doesn't get hurt? I sure think so. Find out his thoughts. What is Alabama defense going to do to slow down this explosive Texas offense? And what can Texas do to get to the quarterback with the big, daunting offensive line from Alabama? We're going to find out. So let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know who you want to see us interview for upcoming games. UTSA, Texas Tech, all those still coming. Let me know who you want to hear from. Also, drop your final score predictions. Michael has his, I've got mine. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and hope you enjoy. Hook 'em. We know a lot about Alabama football already. Obviously, huge team, national spotlight. But who's maybe somebody that's an under the radar player for the Crimson Tide that's going to make a name for themselves this weekend?
So many of the guys are pretty well known, at least around here, in the sense of where they got to that point. But in terms of maybe a receiver, Trey Holden is a guy that had 5 catches last week. He's kind of been an emerging player this preseason. Didn't play much, had a little bit, 15 or so catches last year. Wasn't a major part of the offense a year ago, but he's emerging as one of the bigger playmaking threats in this offense. Jermaine Burton, coming from Georgia, is pretty well known. Another 5 catch guy from last week. So there's a lot of balance on this team offensively, running backs, receivers. Not too many major names, but at least around here, not too many names that are going to be stunning.
Right. Okay. And like you mentioned, a lot of guys that a lot of people know about, and really along the offensive line. I mean, almost the entire line is returning starters. That's a huge challenge for Texas. They haven't seen an offensive line like this, except for maybe OU. What is kind of a weak point in this line? How can Texas attack it to get to the quarterback this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it's an offensive line that has not been as up to standard in the last few years for this program. Lost a top 10 pick in Evan Neal at left tackle, and uh, Chris Owens, the other tackle from last year. But interior, they didn't dominate Utah State as much as you might have expected, given that Utah State gave up, I think, 245 yards a week earlier to UConn on the ground. Not as clean running lines as you expect for a game like that. Maybe the one offensive um, criticism from that game. They won 55-0, but yeah, they brought in a guy, Vanderbilt, Tyler Steen, left tackle to start at left tackle. So, there's some rebuilding, reworking. Wasn't up to standard. Got a new offensive line coach. So we'll see. This will be the first real test for them.
Yeah. Okay, and obviously Texas Alabama, it hasn't happened since 2009 in the national championship game. My question for you, I know what all the Texas fans think. Does Texas win that game if Colt McCoy doesn't get hurt on the first drive of the game?
You know, it's one of those things you'll never know. We'll never know. I don't know. There's a right or wrong answer. I mean, they were moving the ball well when he was in the game. They moved the ball fairly well in the second half with Garrett Gilbert once they settled down. So it's one of those things that doesn't really get brought up around here very often unless people are making a joke, because it's kind of one of those things that never seems to die. regardless of how much time has passed.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so back to this year's game. How does Alabama's defense slow down Bijan Robinson?
Yeah, I mean, I think Sark talked about it the other day. Is they've pretty big interior defensive line, some offensive linemen. They like to eat up the offensive linemen with big defensive linemen, try to force them to the perimeter where you've got all American type offense or talent and Will Anderson on the outside,
Hmm.
Dallas Turner. You got possible first round draft pick in the middle, Henry Kyoto, at middle linebacker. So they've got a lot of speed uh, on the perimeters. They got a lot of speed at the middle linebacker to chase down backs once they get to the edge. So the Utah State, it's really hard to compare anything because they're just not to the same standard that any team that a Texas would have. But really didn't show much at all offensively. Definitely not in the running game.
Right, and a lot of people are expecting this to be a blowout game, but I think Texas offense could keep up with at least Alabama's offense. I don't know. I mean, we've got a lot of weapons on the outside as well. So if you are able to slow down Bijan, for most teams, it's going to be sacrificing something for against the receivers. Is that something that Bama is able to do? Are they able to slow down Bijan and all of the receivers as well?
I mean, that's they've got some decent experience in the secondary. I think a lot of their plan is to get to the quarterback early enough to where they don't really have to worry about that.
Hmm.
The deeper you throw, the more time you have to spend in the pocket, and that's more time that you have to block Will Anderson and Dallas Turner or Chris Braswell coming off the edge, and it's not a great proposition for most teams. So they've got some new cornerbacks. They're working in some new cornerbacks in the secondary. Got some safeties are all both seniors, so they got some experience back there. And yeah, and if you have the time to throw it to them deep, it's good luck. That's really kind of the way it's gone the last year with teams trying to go deep.
Yeah. Okay. Does Kool-Aid McKinstry have the coolest name in college football?
I guess so. I mean, I guess I don't really haven't thought too much about it, but yeah, there's some. It's an interesting nickname. It took me a while to
Yeah,
get used to writing it. But yeah, he's got an NIL deal with Kool-Aid, and it's working out well for him.
that's perfect for him. Okay, last question. Give me a final score prediction for this weekend.
Hmm. I haven't really even thought about that. Maybe 48, 21, 48. So I don't know. I'm bad with these final scores. 42, 42, 21,
Okay.
42, 17, something in that range.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all I've got. Thank you so much for your time today, Michael. Good luck this weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
All
Take it
right.
easy.